So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Lewis structures, but I actually taught quantum numbers, the 4 quantum numbers, before I taught Lewis structures to show how they actually are. So we're going to do an oversimplification. That's what Lewis structures are. They're just created about the valence electrons. So this is how they actually look. These electrons are like clouds. They can be found in different places. That's the S. These are all the S blocks is here, right? The P blocks that can be found down here. Those are all the green over here on the periodic table. They have a certain shape. These are clouds where the electrons can be found. The electrons are moving very quickly, around 2,200 kilometers per second in these different shaped clouds. Okay. We only care about what happens on the outermost shell, the valence electrons, and that's why we use this. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you want to watch a previous video from me about electron configuration quantum numbers. But today we're going to do the electron configuration first of this atom called carbon, since we are carbon-based life forms. Okay, so we're going to do carbon first. So looking at the periodic table here, looking at carbon, carbon's right there. What does that actually mean? That I have 6 protons, 6, and a balanced atom, 6 electrons as well. Okay, they're not always balanced. So then we're going to do carbon. So I need to, but what I want to figure out is how many electrons in the outermost shell. That's all Lewis structures care about. That's where the chemistry happens, is in the valence electrons. That's all we really care about. So there's not 6 valence electrons for carbon. If I look at this, and I filled up using my little chart here, using Aufbau's principle, I believe, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, because it has 6 electrons, right? Carbon has 6 electrons. So I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons that matter. Now notice that the 2 and the 2 on this, those are the highest energy levels, right? So those are my outermost electrons. Those are my outermost clouds. So I have 4 valence electrons for carbon. So if I was going to do a Lewis structure, there's not 6 electrons in its outer shell, only 4 electrons in its outer shell. So if I looked at this, I would dot it just like I have on this next screen right here. So notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4 valence electrons, right? And so Lewis dot structures are just a diagram that shows how many valence electrons in a specific atom. Now, I'm not going to make you do the electron configuration for each one of these. If you just know the general trend, group 1 has 1 valence electron, group 2 has 2, group 3 has 3, group 13 has 3, because the D blocks down here are weird, and we kind of omit them for now in introductory level chemistry class. Group 15 has 5, so on and so forth, right? So you don't even have to do these anymore, but I just want you to understand where those numbers are coming from. They're coming from the outermost shell right there, those valence electrons. So if I gave you any element in this group over here, group 17, you automatically just look at the periodic table and it says it has 7 valence electrons. So you can very quickly draw a Lewis structure here. But this one is carbon. So carbon is in group 14. Is in group 14, right? So it has 4 valence electrons. So that is simply how you do Lewis structures.
Go, hit it.
Oh no, are you serious?
No way.
Are you serious?